Payne County, Oklahoma, welcome to another episode of Pastors of Payne County, that is. I'm Father Brian O'Brien, pastor of St. Francis Xavier Catholic Church here in Stillwater. We're located at 711 North Country Club Road. Come check us out. The church is open all day. Come spend time with the Blessed Sacrament. If we can do anything for you, give us a shout. My trusty compadre, Father Carey, still on sabbatical. So we recorded a couple episodes before he left, and those have been playing over the last couple weeks. We did one on parish boundaries, which drew some controversy. It was kind of interesting, you know. People just go to church wherever they want to go, you know. I don't know, whatever. Today, we have a very special guest. I cannot believe this is the first time that she's been on the show. But she's been around here for a little while. I'm going to introduce you to Betsy McNeil.
Hey, Father.
Yes.
Hey,
yes.
Father. How are you?
Betsy. So
Hello.
Betsy McNeil, many you might know her. Betsy's around quite a bit and has a fascinating new job out at the, we'll talk about it in just a minute, but the new Our Lady of Grace Catholic Retreat Center, which is located on the east side of Stillwater. Just a fascinating kind of project that seemingly sort of came out of nowhere, but didn't really come out of nowhere. Nothing comes out of nowhere.
Right.
It comes out of the fruit of prayer and
Absolutely.
and just good people all around. So Betsy and I met, I don't know, 4 years ago. I've been here 5.5, and so maybe 5 years ago. Yeah. But you're from here, so give us a little background on Betsy McNeil. Where did you come from? Where have you been?
Well, I want to start out by saying I'm so excited to be here. I just want to say I'm now living in the Red Dirt Riviera.
That's right.
I'm back home.
That's right.
I'm back home. I have roots in
Father Carey
Stillwater.
will be so proud that you said that.
I love that. I love that. I used to listen to your podcast when I lived in Arkansas, and I thought I wish I was living back in the Red Dirt Riviera.
We have some Arkansas listeners.
Yes, you do.
Mostly Oklahoma. Texas comes in second.
Yeah. Oh, it does?
It does.
Well, Arkansas will...
Arkansas is up there.
Yeah, we'll catch
It's top 10.
We'll catch
It's a
up.
top 10 listener state.
We'll catch up.
All right, so you're from here.
Well, I went to grade school here, St. Francis Xavier Catholic School.
Oh.
I was the last class out of the old building, as we call it, and the new class into what's now the cinder block building right directly across the street. That was a school. That was our school.
Yeah.
So we came out.
We don't
of
own that anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we came out of that, and anyway, I went there. High school. My parents moved to Ada, Oklahoma, and then I came back for college. Met and married my husband. Moved to McAllister.
Oh.
Did not like. Well, I loved the people. And we went to church actually in Krebs.
Oh,
and
yeah, St. Joseph's in Krebs.
And I know all the Hartshorn people and, you know, Haleyville.
That's a beautiful area, yeah.
Good stomping grounds. Brett Akins and I.
Yes, Brett Akins,
know,
who works for Father Carey
Yeah.
at St. John's.
Yeah.
He's from Hartshorn.
Yep. And anyway, so when we started having children, I really did not want to raise my kids in McAllister. So we moved back to Stillwater, my husband and I did. When we got here, we had 2 children. I had a third while we were here. While we lived here. We lived here for 8 years, and then God called us to Arkansas.
You were farmers, yeah.
Yeah, we ran cattle and
Yep.
whatnot, and that's where I made a very important acquaintance. Well, I've got a ton of friends from back. I have a lot of friends.
Oh, it's all connected.
We don't have time for me to name all my friends, but anyhow, and I have a foot in both camps too, Father, because part of my life I went to St. Francis Xavier, and the other half I went to St. John's, you know, when I came back to go to school.
That's what a lot of people did around here.
So we, in other words, it's kind of a neat deal because you met all the Catholics that lived here in Stillwater. So anyway, in Arkansas, I had I did not want to leave Oklahoma. I'm telling you, I just did not. But God had other plans, and they're always good. My children were able to go to a Catholic school.
Nice.
I was able to attend a Cursillo. I got very involved on the state level with Cursillo. Then I began working in a ministry called Beginning Experience after I'd been widowed about 5 years. And I started helping out with that ministry. And that actually was headquartered in Tulsa at the time.
Was?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah.
So that's kind of beginning experience for people
who have been widowed or divorced.
Uh-huh.
It's not as prevalent. As a matter of fact, I don't even think they have it going in Oklahoma.
I see it around. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of past.
Sure.
Past its.
Yep.
But I worked in that ministry for about 9 years, and interesting is I saw a lot of people from Stillwater coming through.
Oh.
You know, but I got a lot of training on how to work with grieving people, or primarily how to listen. That led to I took a entire year to go into spiritual direction. One of the priests that I knew was a spiritual director, so I used to drive to Fort Smith once a month. It was about a 45-minute hour drive, to start seeing him for spiritual direction, which led me into the spiritual exercises of St. Ignatius.
Yeah.
I took that, and we're offering that here this fall at St. Francis and at Our Lady of Grace.
Yeah.
We'll have plenty of opportunities.
So here we call it Retreat in Daily Life.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
RIDL.
Yes.
So you'll see, if you're around here, you can check the bulletin, check the website. It's all there. Yeah, beautiful.
Well, we're going to try to offer it 2 different times, different days. But as you know, Father, I'm a parishioner here, even though I work at Our Lady of Grace.
Yeah, the two are symbiotic.
Yes, we are. We exist a lot to support what's going on here and just to be active. But in Arkansas, I took the exercises, which led me into becoming a spiritual director, which ultimately led me home because I was taking some additional classes. After I'd been a director for several years, they were having some classes in Tulsa. A Dominican priest was coming up teaching on the prodigal son.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh.
It was a 5-month deal.
When was this? Like, what year are we talking?
I think it must have been 18, because what happened...
2018?
Yeah.
Oh.
18, right? Because what happened was...
Oh, I was already here.
Yes, you were.
Huh. Right.
One day, it dawned on... I started taking some other, spiritual direction-related classes over there, and it dawned on me that I have a son that lives in Edmond who thought he was almost like a stepchild because I didn't get over there very often. And so on Saturday, when I'd get out of class, I thought, well, I'll just zip over to Edmond, spend the weekend with him.
Sure.
But then why not zip through Stillwater and spend the night, because I have a friend that lives here. That way I could go to Mass at St. Francis again.
The new
yes,
church.
The new. So the very first time I did that, the new pastor, Father Brian O'Brien, made mention, or actually the homily was about your desire, and our mission is to evangelize Payne County. So when I heard that, my heart broke open, started bleeding all over the floor, and I'm like, well, I need to be here. What the heck? But Father, I had a large spiritual direction ministry.
Yeah, lots of obstacles to making that move.
Yeah, lived on 40 acres, my grandchildren next door, and, just all this stuff. And so that didn't seem to be a possibility. So I started making the monthly trip over here, spend the night, go to Mass, go see my son, and go home, and it was lovely. But every time I left, I would want to cry. And so I finally took that to my spiritual director, and he said, "You've been taking that to God?" And I'm like, well, yeah, kind of. Yeah. And he said, yeah, and you know what's going on, don't you? And I said, yeah, I said, I want to go home. But, there's no way. So I said, there's no way.
You got to sell.
Yeah, well, and I had...
Sell property,
had
all those people that were...
And the truth of the matter was, that's what I wanted. I didn't hear God call.
Sure.
I just didn't.
Sure.
Until... one day, anyway, we kind of worked through that for quite a while, and I got this genius idea. It must have been the Blessed Virgin Mary, because I fly under her mantle, and I listen to her, and you know how she goes and talks to Jesus and comes back and says, do whatever he tells you? So what I heard was, call Father Brian O'Brien and tell him that you're a spiritual director and that you need to probably meet with him and he could probably use you over there.
I remember that, yeah.
So I did.
Yeah.
I did and we did. And
we met.
It happened. And so you asked me if I was moving and I said, no. But before I got home that night, I had 7 people call about spiritual direction. And we have a wonderful director here. Marilyn Soller has been doing direction for a while. But like you and I talked, we have at the time we had 800 families, I think.
Yep.
One human can't take care of that.
Sure.
Even a priest and a director. So I started in my little monthly back and forth. I started coming here and for a day or two and doing spiritual direction and then helping with the retreat and daily life and Lexio and doing all this fun stuff and just getting involved here at St. Francis, where I belonged, although I lived in Arkansas.
And then you moved.
Yeah.
You packed it up and...
Well...
It's really... I don't remember you not being here. I mean, I know there was a time. It was, I don't know, probably a year and a half or so that I was here before you moved
I don't think that... I don't know that it was that long. But because I had started coming your first year, I think, or right after that. But yeah, one day... I was at Mass, and Deacon Glenn Collum asked me to lunch with he and his wife, Laura. And we were just sitting there at...
And you knew each other.
Oh, from way back.
Yeah.
Yeah, kids together, and, we raised our kids and did all this, and cattle, and, way back.
Kids and cattle.
Kids and cattle. And church.
And church.
Yeah. Yeah, no, all that. It's all...
Catholic, kids, and cattle.
Yeah. And all copacetic.
That's right.
And Mary, I'm telling you something. Well, here's what happened. He asked me to lunch, and we're eating at Hideaway. And I went to Hideaway when I was 5. I was like we were like the third family that ever went there.
Love it.
But anyway, he said, just out of the blue, he said, "Hey, been praying, and in prayer, I've been hearing about building a retreat center." I said, "Wow, good for you." And he said, I said, "That's good.
Good for you.
Way to go, Glenn." And he said, and I think you need to come over and run it. And I said, "No, I don't run anything. I just pray." That's exactly what I said.
Yeah.
And he said, "Well, I've been thinking, and in my prayers, you're supposed to come." And I said, "Well, I think you're wrong." And I looked over at Laura, and I said, "What do you think about?" And he had this a vision about building this retreat center. So I looked at Laura and I said, "What do you think about your husband having dreams about other women?" And she just looked right at me and she said, "Oh, there's another one involved." And so I looked at Glenn and I said, "And who's that?" And he said, "The Blessed Virgin Mary." Oh, shoot.
Now you're busted.
I couldn't eat it. I put the pizza down, scooted over, and I said, "Talk to me." So he did. So I listened to his dream and what he was thinking. And I said, "Glenn, seriously, you need somebody, but not me. Although I know somebody, but no, it's not me." And he said, "Yeah, it's supposed to be." And I said, "Tell you what, you don't even have the land bought. You don't. And how am I going to go home and tell my kids I'm moving?" No. He said, "I'll have the land bought next time you come." I said, "Really?" So on the way home, he drove me by and 300-acre cattle ranch. That's speaking to me.
Sure.
Black cows,
Yep.
green grass, lots of open space. So I went home and called my spiritual director, and I said, "You know what? And he said, "Are you speechless? I didn't think there was such a thing." And so I came back the next month, and sure enough, Glenn bought the land. And now it was getting serious. And so let's just say we had some more discussion, very, very intense. And I can feel the tears right now. It wasn't up to me. So next time I was at Mass, I was asking the Blessed Virgin Mary, I've asked for years to come back, and the answer has always been no, and now what? And anyway, it was come. So I went home and spent 10 days discerning. And this is kind of funny. I was supposed to go down. It was Easter time, and I was supposed to go down to Gulf Shores, Alabama, because I had my nephew was coming into the church.
Oh, nice.
Then, for Easter.
Sure.
Then I was going to Kentucky because I had 2 nephews that were being confirmed. And I had those 10 days already booked off. I didn't have any directees scheduled, nothing. So I said, I told my family I wasn't coming, and then that I was going to stay home. Well, one day my daughter came over and knocked at the door. I want to talk to you, okay? She said, I have a question for you. I said, what? She said, Mom, are you dying? I said, what? She said, is there something wrong with you?
Wow, I've never heard that.
Yeah. She said, is there something wrong with you? And I said, no. Why would you think that? She said, because the biggest Catholic events in our family's life, and you're not coming. What's up?
Wow.
And I said, I'm just tired, because I traveled to Little Rock all the time. I went down there to do stuff with, anyway, back and forth, and that was quite a drive, and I'd spend, weeks at a time down there sometimes, and I said, I'm just tired. I'm just going to rest for a little bit. And she said, I don't believe you, but if that's what you want to tell me, okay. And I said, well, I'm not dying. And she said, okay. She said, well, I'll tell your sons and that, because they're all concerned. So, and I said, well, somebody needs to take care of the chickens and the dogs. Wow. So you guys go. So I got Timothy Gallagher's Discerning God's Will.
Father Timothy Gallagher. Check him out. His stuff, on discernment of spirits.
Yes. Anything
will blow you away. He's
Gallagher
anything.
writes.
Anything.
And he's a Marian priest.
He's like a...
and what's really neat is his relationship with St. Ignatius and the Ignatian exercises is beyond all. Anyway, so I called my spiritual director. I said, you need to be on speed dial, although he and I both knew that you don't use a director in that way, but just in case. So when they pulled out of the driveway, I just was there in the middle of 40 acres by my little lonesome with God, and we started talking and reading and praying and crying and dreaming and thinking and discerning and all of it. And then I got about 6.5, 7 days into it, and I got stuck because it was pretty clear that I was being called and I was going to go. But how do you say goodbye to directees that you've had for a long...
Right.
And I remember telling the vicar general one time when I came over, he said, you're not moving over there, are you? And I said, no. And how do you, and all of a sudden I'm like, would that mean I lied? What would that mean? But no, I was seriously thinking. And so I called my director and I said, I don't know how to say goodbye to directees. I'm not attached, but I just don't know how. And so he gave me the name of a really good friend of mine that's a director that had left Arkansas, moved away, ran a small retreat center, and then just moved back. So I called her up. She gave me some really good advice, but here's the interesting part. And you know me, this is, here it comes. I go over there, and I called her and I said, I want to come see you. And she said, great. She said, we'll have coffee. I said, no, I want to come see you professionally. And she goes, oh, okay. So I get there and go into her office and sit down, and we get started. And she takes, she just starts looking at me and taps her fingers, and she says, well, Betsy McNeil is here to see me about moving to Oklahoma. And I looked at her and I said, who told you? And I got mad. I was angry. I said, who told you? And she didn't answer. She just smiled at me. There's only 2 people at that time, 3. Myself, Glenn Collum, Laura, Glenn and Laura, and my spiritual director. That was it. That was it.
Wow.
And I said, no, I'm serious. There's only, who told you? And she could tell I was a little bit perturbed, I guess. And she said, I pray to the same Virgin Mary that you do. And I said, what? And she said, yeah, in prayer this morning. And I'm like, are you kidding me? And she said, no. And I said, well, I guess I'm going then. She said, yeah, I guess you are. And I've asked her later, Father, and then my friends confirmed that all the years that I lived in Arkansas, I always had a Oklahoma tale, a cow proverb, something. She said, so it didn't surprise me.
It's in your blood.
Yeah. So anyway, I spent the next month saying goodbye to directees, and moved here July 1st. Lock, stock, and barrel.
That was 2019.
Came here.
Wow.
2019.
I love it. So Betsy, in this parish, Betsy plays a lot of roles. Just, when we were kind of first getting off the ground, we made a determination, like we need to like teach people before we jump into, kind of doctrinal stuff, and like we just got to teach people how to pray. And you set up groups, and we see that. I mean, that fruit is still like it's everywhere. A lot of the people that are at daily mass, kind of got into that habit because they were in those early prayer groups, and so then kind of the next piece of that was this retreat center. Where did that? So it came from the fruit of prayer from Glenn and Laura, Deacon Glenn and Laura. And then you got in, they bought land.
Yep.
And then 2 months ago, whenever that was, June, May?
Well, May 1st.
May 1st.
We opened.
Yep.
We opened. The bishop came out and dedicated the land at the very beginning.
I remember that.
And the bishop and came out and dedicated the land. And literally, it was only red dirt then. Red dirt.
It was muddy.
Grass.
Yeah.
There was no electricity. There's no water. There was no road and everything. And I kept asking Glenn, why do you want me to come now? Why?
Yeah, there's no building.
There's nothing going on for now. And he said, just go and do whatever Father O'Brien wants you to do.
Oh, he didn't tell me that.
No, well, see, that's it. Too bad, so sad.
He's a sneaky one.
He said, whatever Father O'Brien needs you to do. And so that's what we did. We started the prayer groups. And now, Father, we've got the Bible study. Back then, Terry Schutte was running the Bible. And we've got, this is the most phenomenal parish because there's Bible studies, there's prayer groups, there's diaconates, there's senior men, owls, there's all this. But anyway, it's a wonderful parish. So the retreat center, about a year out, we started doing all what I just said, meeting with builders and doing all that good stuff. Anyhow, about a year ago, I stepped back from what I was doing here because it was time to really start focusing on
the retreat
building
center.
stuff.
Yeah.
And I told Glenn, this is so funny. I said, okay, you need an administrator. And it is not me. So get on your knees and let's go.
So, we're kind of someone to run the day-to-day
the business operations.
Yeah, taking reservations.
Budgeting.
Organizing, cleaning, cooking, all this behind-the-scenes stuff, yeah.
Well, here's the funny part. I knew the perfect person. She used to be the parish manager with me. When I was director of stewardship at St. Vincent in Rogers, she was parish manager, and we worked together like, two peas in a pod. And I know how she operates. So I called her year one. I said, and she's from Nebraska, and we used to, do the Nebraska-Oklahoma tango all the, at staff meetings, and Father would be just like, he knew after OSU football game that her little Nebraska office would be covered in orange. But anyway, I digress. I called her up year one, and I said, I'm moving to Oklahoma. She said, well, good for you. I said, well, you are too, so get ready. No, I'm not. Year two. Oh, it's great over here. You need to be coming. Because she and her husband owned a business. Year three, the husband gets on the phone. We're not moving there. I don't care what you say. And I said, it's not up to me. It's up to the Blessed Virgin Mary and her son. Just tell them no. And he said, well, we're not coming. Okay, year four, I'm starting to step back and telling Glenn, you better start praying because it's time. You need one. Year 4.5, we get a phone call. Okay, you won't believe this. We just sold our business. Seriously? Really? You did what? Really? Yeah. And what are you going to do? We're moving back to Arkansas to be near children and grandchildren. And
that's nice.
And she was probably, she had all kinds of people wanting her to come back and work at the church. And I said, "You going to come see me?" And
I remember that, and they came through town.
They were going to stay 2 days, but there was some miscommunication with the campground where they were going to stay while they were visiting over there or going, and they ended up staying 3 weeks.
That's right.
Every single day, I heard, introduce them to Father O'Brien, take them to meet the director of communications, who wasn't Rob, introduce them to the parishioners, Lauren got involved in a prayer group that was going on, and they just dove right in, started doing stuff. They started cooking at St. John's Mass.
Right.
They just hopped right in.
Yeah, they did jump right in.
So at the end of the 3 weeks, and I told Glenn, I said, okay, you better take care of this. Well, he took them out and visited with them and showed them all what could happen. And so end of 3 weeks, well, goodbye. It was nice staying here. And they left. And I looked at Glenn and I said, well, you messed that. Something happened here. What happened? And we both looked at each other and started laughing. And I thought, you know what? You can run. You can run. What's it saying in Psalm 139? You can run, you can hide, you can do all this.
Right.
Okay. So about 2 weeks later, the phone call. Hello, Betsy. We're moving to Oklahoma. Really?
Everyone should just move here. It's just get it over with.
It's well, what they heard, they were in Nebraska getting their stuff, and at Mass they heard separately, I want to draw closer to you. I want you to draw closer to me, and the best place to do it is Oklahoma.
Wow.
So here they come. St. Joseph played a big role because while they were here, they did the St. Joseph consecration.
Yeah.
So they get here, and her husband is Lauren Kushak is the director of operations, and Judine is the administrator. So she gets it all set up because for what we do, we host retreats, and then we also have our own retreats. In other words, you have been out and you had a full day out there for parishioners.
Yeah, back in early June, I did a little retreat on the Eucharistic prayers of the Mass. Yeah.
Yes.
But then all through June, every Monday, you brought in speakers from Oklahoma City, Ponca City, Wichita.
Yeah. Yes. But you see the difference? You had your retreat out there.
You hosted it.
And then we
it was a parish event. Yeah.
Yeah.
Parish event out there.
Yeah. So we've been doing quite a bit of that already. We opened May 1st. We've been doing quite a bit of that. The word is just now starting kind of to get out.
Yeah, hopefully as people listen to this, that gets the word out a little more. So there's kind of two parts to it. You're doing programs, retreats, talks.
Yes.
But then it's also meant to be a place of refuge, for people who can come and make an individual retreat.
Exactly. Silence, solitude, stillness.
Yep.
We have private bedrooms. They've got private bath, private patio, all overlooks the lake, walking grounds. So you can come. As a matter of fact, Father, in August, we're having our first formal 3-day Ignatian silent directed retreat.
Oh, when is that?
Yeah. It's August the 10th.
Okay, nice.
And so if somebody wants to come and actually work through that, we'll have directors there. But we've had schools come on retreat with their teachers.
Yeah, I'm doing a little retreat for the staff. The Church of St. Mary in Tulsa is coming out.
Okay.
We're having our vicariate meeting there in September. Mm-hmm. We're doing our staff here is going to do our staff formation. So those kinds of things. So you guys can host.
Yes.
It's really good food too.
Yes. We have a chef.
Host, but then also people can come for a night, for a week.
By themselves.
And just be, you have a library, there's a chapel, beautiful chapel with the Blessed Sacrament. The bishop has allowed for the Blessed Sacrament to be there.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And
so it's got a lot. There's a lot going on there.
We have asked, if you're going to come out, you have to stay at least 2 nights because
is that right? Okay.
Well, it takes you a while to come down.
Wild. Yeah, that's open. True. No,
so there
true.
You go. Yeah.
So it's awesome. So check it out. It's the website is Our Lady of Grace CatholicRetreatCenter.com. You can Google it and find it. But anyway, on their website, they got all those stuff. They got all the contact information and just very, very cool. So we're very blessed to have it so close to the parish. And then people from all over the state, from Texas, Arkansas, Kansas, all those places, come and stay. And so if you're listening to this, you can come too. It's amazing stuff. Betsy McNeil, thanks for being on Pastors of Payne. It is a joy. Have a great week, everybody. Go Pokes.